If those weren't so expensive, link down below in the description if you want to purchase your own. I would knock that right the hell off the table.
Notice who's on top of who.
Welcome to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather, your weekly football podcast recorded right here in the heart of Sin City. Join Mike and the Feather as they dive into the world of sports bet predictions, game analysis, and serve up a healthy dose of Vegas-style humor. Whether you're looking to ride the winning streak or soar to new heights in your football knowledge, this is the podcast for you. Let's embark on this gridiron adventure together from the entertainment capital of the world.
Here we are coming into week 14 on the Fade or Fly podcast. I'm Mike. This is the Feather.
What's up, guys?
And we are here to discuss the Feather's picks and predictions for week 14 in the NFL. But first, I want to say a shout out to two nice gentlemen we met at our favorite Asian buffet that's right down the street from the studio. Nice talking to you guys. Glad you subscribed. But I also want to say there's something going on at the Crazy Buffet. We mentioned the Crazy Buffet before. I think shout out the Crazy Buffet again.
Crazy Buffet, good
we
stuff.
take sponsorships. You got a fortune here that I think predicts the actual truth. And I'm gonna remember my first fortune we got from there was learn to play golf.
What was your fortune today?
I think it was like water is wet. I don't remember exactly what it was.
He gets terrible fortunes, but then my fortune today seemed to be pretty good and relevant to perhaps this show.
This says there is fortune right under your nose. And when you think about it, man's mouth is right under his nose. So listen to the words.
It's the moneymaker, baby.
Let's listen to the words he has for us today. But first, let's take a recap look at what happened with our picks in the NFL for week 13 last week. Week 13 had a lot of fireworks, a lot of crazy games, some major injuries, but I need to give you props because for once, being a homer paid off for you in spades. So last week, you sat here and predicted a Packers win over the Chiefs, and a lot of people I know were watching the podcast and immediately shouting out, well, there was a homer pick right there. But I got to tell you, for one reason or another, this homer is celebrating.
I'm happy. Like I said, I'm like a kid at Christmas. I was after Sunday Night Football, I was bouncing off the walls because they're jumping on the Feather train to Green Bay success. Because right now, Green Bay is a front runner to make the playoffs. 70% chance right now. Okay. They are looking at leaning towards 11-5. 11-5. If we would have talked 4 weeks ago about the Green Bay Packers being 11-5, people would have put me in an insane asylum.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
People still might, but go ahead.
But let's just be real. Green Bay is for real. This team is doing some dynamic stuff. They're well-rounded. They're well-coached. We'll get more into that later. But it was an exciting game. 4 units. Boom. Green Bay. Easy peasy. Because guess what? Those Chiefs, dumpster fire. This offense is terrible. Okay? Patrick Mahomes, we'll talk more about him later as well. But they got problems in Kansas City, and I don't know if they're going to be fixed this year, but we'll see. Now, another big game. We learned a little bit about the NFC. And that the 49ers are absolutely the number one team in the NFL right now. Would you agree, Mike?
I mean, the 49ers did look like the best team. And I got to say, too, Brock Purdy looked like a good choice for a last pick in the NFL draft, if ever there was one. He also did us a solid in fantasy football. He locked up a lot of points. And that team just looked like there is nobody that can beat them. But I also want to say I think it kind of showed that Eagles weren't necessarily a really good 10-2 team.
Yeah, I mean, no, everyone agrees that the Eagles are not the same team they were last year when they went to the Super Bowl. Their offense isn't the same. Their defense isn't as good. Their running defense is pretty solid, but their backfield is a little bit, suspect at times this year. So, yeah, definitely. But that pick was not an easy one, and I smacked it on, to the good also. So that was 2 4-unit plays, 2-0. And we're sitting at 80%. 80% this year on my 4-unit plays or above. 20-5 record. So let's keep that rolling. And otherwise it's good week in NFL. A lot of injuries, a lot of issues. Another injury in the AFC. Trevor Lawrence goes down with an ankle injury. We're waiting to hear what's going to happen.
They lost Christian Kirk after the first 23-yard catch.
Yeah, our fantasy guy, Christian Kirk, catches a 23-yard catch. No one tackled him. No one was around him. And he has some really serious core injury, which I don't know what that even means. I mean, I barely have abs, so the idea of a core injury is kind of weird to me.
People always say they want to have a six-pack of abs. But I think when you're really a cool guy, you bring a whole keg to the party. It's a six-pack.
Exactly. I always
roll out the barrels.
I was always a keg kind of guy. But, so I don't know. Kirk went down. Trevor Lawrence went down. And all of a sudden, this team that was, front-running for being a number one seed.
They got problems.
Now they got big problems. I mean, Kirk's going to be out for at least, I would think, 4 weeks minimum. And Trevor Lawrence, there's reports that think that maybe he'll be out the rest of the year. You know, all I know is Trevor Lawrence did not want a cart. The reason why there's video footage of him getting, walking off with the guy on each side of him.
We have a sudden appearance by Jordan Love.
Hello, Jordan Love.
How the heck did that happen? You set this up, didn't you?
That's beautiful. Look at that. So, we're going to see what happens. But Patrick Mahomes, the one good thing in the Chiefs are maybe they're doing some voodoo type stuff because they're not playing worth a lick. But eventually, if all the best players in the other teams go out on injury, KC might get to the Super Bowl just by pure default. So right now, KC they're the front runners on the default Super Bowl appearance due to every other good team losing their best players. What else you got?
I got a list of picks this week that you have ready for us, so I think it's time that we go ahead and hop in the car and take it to the bank with the Feathers. Take it to the bank, picks of the week. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We got 5 for you this week across the weekend. Speaking of the Jacksonville Jaguars, let's start with that game. We have a 1 p.m. Eastern time game between the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at 8-4 at the Cleveland Browns sitting at 7-5. The Browns are a 3-point favorite. And here we go. First battle of the backup quarterbacks.
So where we're sitting right now this week, week 14, C.J. Beathard versus either Joe Flacco or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. That's what we came down to. If those two quarterbacks don't drive up ticket prices for that game, I don't know what will. But Trevor Lawrence is most likely out, C.J. Beathard in, and he got banged up. So really, I don't even see a third quarterback on their roster right now, but I know that C.J. Beathard was out of practice today. So that's concerning. I'm waiting for my phone to ring. I might be the emergency backup third-string quarterback, but my agent said that I haven't got a call yet. So we got Christian Kirk out. We got Trevor Lawrence out. We got Joe Flacco, who, they're going to make a made-for-TV movie about that guy. He was on his couch last week chilling. He comes out last week, throws for 300 yards off the couch.
No respect. It's Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco.
He's a beast. And I thank him because I do not like Jim Harbaugh. So the fact that they beat San Francisco in the Super Bowl makes me happy. Remember it was the light out gate?
Yeah.
That was great. So here we go. So now we got two very uninspiring quarterbacks matching up against each other. So what's it become about? It becomes about the Browns defense. This Browns defense has been dynamic. They're beastie. The last couple weeks, last week they gave up a little bit. But this defense, literally they just need a game manager not to mess up enough because this Browns defense is savage. Bottom line, they're giving up 153 yards passing per game, 170 yards rushing. They are number 1 in the NFL for least total yards allowed. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who have Travis Etienne and what should be a good running game, not so much. It's been flat. The running game's been not good, which does them no favors considering the Cleveland Browns already barely give up any rushing yards, period. And with Trevor Lawrence out, now they're going to be able to key on the running game. And I don't see a way that this Jacksonville team gets any offense going. Like, I have a hard time seeing Jacksonville putting up more than 10 points. I just don't see where they're going to do it. I mean, maybe they could put up 13, but it doesn't make sense. The Browns, they're at 6-1 at home this year, so they're absolutely dominant. Their flagship win was against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm loving the Browns in this case. The Browns struggled last week and lost. They're 7-5. They need this win to keep the ball rolling. And guess what? They're going to get it. The Cleveland Browns -3 for 4 units all day long. The Browns defense is going to win this football game. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, heartbroken by their top 2 offensive players probably going down maybe for the rest of the season, is going to be too much. And their spirit is going to be a little bit broken. And in turn, they're going to get their tail kicked this week. So 4 units, feeling good about it. Cleveland Browns, boom, -3.
Pick number 2 for Week 14 is the 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time game between the Denver Broncos, sitting at 6-6, at the Los Angeles Chargers, sitting at 5-7. Speaking of Chargers, they could probably have less power in them than my phone does right now, because that was a hell of a game this past weekend. 6-0. I got them at 4.5 on my teaser. Covered the spread barely.
If you can't score a touchdown against New England, which New England, shout out to New England Patriots.
True.
This team, New England Patriots, made history last weekend to be the first team since 1938 to literally not give up more than 10 points their last 3 games and to still lose every single game.
Is that true? I didn't even think about that.
That's insane. So 6-0, no touchdowns. I mean, it's impressive that the Chargers, who have a terrible defense, shut out the Patriots. But is that because the Patriots' offense is just that bad? I'm so confused. But all I know, we got Broncos at Chargers. This game is going to be the battle of what was 2 of the worst defenses on paper. Because the reality is the Broncos got this situation because of the fact that they were terrible so early on. But they're a different team the last 6 weeks. But overall in the NFL, that's what matters. You're looking at the 29th worst defense in the Chargers and the 31st worst defense in the Broncos, giving up 385 yards per game. Chargers give up 380 yards per game. So it's a battle. But let's just be real. The Chargers are still that bad. The Broncos, not so much. They lost last week, but they've been giving up about 16 points a game or so, ballpark the last 6 weeks, and they're looking good. Brandon Staley is going to get fired at the end of this year. I guarantee you Chargers are going to fire that coach. Unless somehow he gets in the playoffs and almost wins the game or wins a game, he's getting fired. It doesn't matter if he has a beard or he's clean shaven. The guy is terrible. He's got to go. I believe in Sean Payton. I believe in whatever he's doing to get this team to where they're at now. I think they should have won last week. And I think they're going to continue their winning ways, for the foreseeable future and get themselves a potential wild card if they keep healthy and doing what they're doing.
Well, Chargers seem like a good team to make that bounce back attempt at, or kind of the correction game.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers have been just a disappointment. If you're a fantasy football person, Austin Eckler's been terrible. Keenan Allen's been great. Keenan Allen's got to be like, man, I'm having the best season of my career. The rest of the team is not reciprocating. Their defense is terrible. Their coach is terrible. The running game's bad. And they lost Mike Williams early in the year. And the rookie, Quinton Johnson, this guy's been terrible. He can't catch the ball. And of all the rookie receivers from this draft class, he was one of the highest picked ones out of a good chunk of them. And he's the worst right now year to date. So this Charger team is a hot garbage mess. They're at home, but nothing's going to save them in this one. The Broncos, +3 all day long. 2 units, Broncos, no problem. Russell Wilson's going to cook in this game. He's going to get it done. Shout out to Don, my father-in-law. I know you're a huge Russell Wilson guy. The Broncos are going to cook, get the W, get us 2 units. Boom.
We're going to look at the Buffalo Bills sitting at 6-6 versus the Kansas City Chiefs at 8-4. Chiefs are a 2-point favorite. And I was thinking, if you asked the Broncos at the beginning of this season, would you like to have the same record in Week 13 as the Bills? They would say absolutely. And if you ask the Bills, do you want to have the same record as the Broncos in Week 13 at the beginning of the season? They'd be like, oh, hell no.
Right.
Both teams, tale of 2 different teams sitting at 6-6. But do you expect a big game, Josh Allen? Because this is basically the season.
All right, first we're going to start on the Chiefs side of the ball. Patrick Mahomes, he has 2 passing games of 186 yards or less. That's crazy. Patrick Mahomes passing for 186 yards or less once or twice in a season with 5 games ago is crazy. He's got 6 total games of passing for under 240 yards, okay? And of those 240, 4 out of the 5 are under 220, and a couple of them are, I mean, it's crazy. 6 games under 240. He's only got 3 games over 300, and that's against the Broncos, which is the second worst defense in the league at the time when he got those yards, and Chargers, who is third worst, and then the Jaguars early in the season when they were not the Jaguars of right now. KC only has 1 notable win, and that's against the Miami Dolphins in a foreign country. Now, of that game, they scored 21 total points, okay, 21-14, but 7 of those were a fluky touchdown off of a fumble just before the half. So they won 21-14 against Miami. All 21 points in the first half. They got shut out in the second half. So really, they only put up 14 offensive points in the whole game against Miami. So their flagship win was limping across the victory line against Miami. That's a problem. The other issue is the wide receivers are terrible. I'm going to beat that drum. Beat that drum. These wide receivers are terrible. When Rashid Rice is your, like, Jerry Rice, you got a problem. Travis Kelce, he caught a few balls last week. But guess what? Squirrel finds a nut. He was wide open on a couple passes, caught his balls, limped off the field, sat on the bench by himself, probably thinking of his girlfriend up in the stands, which is fine. The guy's done it all. He's one of the all-time greats. But I believe he's kind of checked out of football. He's going through the motions. His team's offense is going through the motions. I think Andy Reid is tired. And this defense has been carrying this Kansas City team all year long. Well, guess what? Now the defense took some injuries. They lost two key defensive players last week against the Packers, and they lost their tackle, neck injury. Not sure if he'll be back. All this is not good for the Kansas City Chiefs. That being said, they're back home this week against the Bills. The Bills are coming off a bye.
Right.
And Josh Allen, like you were saying before, this is win or be done for the Bills. They're 6-6. Like, really, their leeway to lose games is like this.
And their schedule has not helped them out in the slightest going forward.
No, like if they're going to need 10 wins to make the playoffs. Right now, the best they can do if they run a table is 11. So they're not dead if they would lose this one, but they're pretty close, right? Barring a bunch of other teams just losing. Which, hey, if everyone keeps getting injured, they might backdoor in just like the Chiefs.
Even the Giants?
No.
Sorry, tried.
No, there's no hope for the Giants regardless. So we'll close that door. The Bills, 3-1 out of the last 4 games against Kansas City in the regular season. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, and you got Isaiah Pacheco, who, a.k.a. Punchy Pacheco, was throwing haymakers at the Packers last week, got ejected from that game. He's been one of the brighter spots of the offense with his running game, but now he's banged up with, they're calling a shoulder contusion, probably from throwing haymakers. Who knows? With him banged up, this wide receiving core being able to catch a ball about as good as I can, Travis Kelce not very hungry in this defense, struggling badly. Combo that with a Bills team coming off a bye. I believe that the Bills are going to get back on track. Stephon Diggs is going to do what he does normally. They're going to get Gabe Davis involved. Cook is going to be really good at the running back position. He's going to have a big game. And all in all, this Bills team, take it to the bank. The Buffalo Bills +2. We're going 6 units. Yes, 6 units. Boom. Buffalo Bills. They are going to absolutely work over this Kansas City team. Patrick Mahomes, sorry, buddy, but your team, you don't have that supporting cast, and you are no Aaron Rodgers that can win with subpar players at different points in his career. You are proving not to be that at this moment. Buffalo Bills +2, loving it. They're going to get back on track, be 7-6, and the Bills are going to run the tables the rest of the year and get in the playoffs, and they're going to shake it up. Bills Nation, I know you're loving hearing that kind of information. Go Bills. Break out the tables. Boom.
8:20 p.m. Sunday night game. I hope the stadium opens up and swallows both teams whole, because I don't give a damn about this game or these teams. It is the 10-2 Philadelphia Eagles at the 9-3 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3 points.
It sounds like a bitter Giants fan. I mean,
No, I'm not a bitter Giants fan. It's just I hate them with all my heart and soul. So what do you got?
how do you really feel, Mike?
I'm going to look at Christmas lights while you're doing this pick because I just I feel I don't even want to bet this game. I would feel dirty betting this game. You could tell me all 11 starting players are out, and I'd be like, I'm still not going to bet the other way because I'm supporting somebody.
You know, you win the money.
You've made me bet on the Eagles this year.
You go ahead.
And you've made me money, but it's blood money.
So you make the money, you take a shower, and wash off the filth. A really big rivalry. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Dak Prescott's playing outstanding. Everyone's putting him as like a MVP favorite. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts is banged up a little bit. He's kind of been playing halfway hurt all season.
Does that mean Jalen's playing all the way hurts?
Oh, my God.
Because it hurts me to watch this game?
This game is going to hurt somebody because someone watching this game is going to feel the pain. We'll get to that in a little bit. But right now we got the Cowboys at home. Philadelphia, San Fran set up the tee. Teed up for Dallas Cowboys. They beat the brakes off of Philly. Now Dallas has to get it done. They win this game. Due to tiebreakers, they will be in first place. Don't ask me how. There's a million tiebreakers, but Dallas will be the front runner, I believe, and be the tiebreaker holder. That being said, if that happens, Philly has arguably probably the first or second easiest schedule left in the NFL. Okay, they got the Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks, and they got the Giants twice. So basically, it's like a mulligan. On the other side, Dallas actually has a pretty tough schedule. So even in the event if Dallas pulls this win off, they got a tough road to hold par and hold that division spot. Earlier in the year, Philly played Dallas close. A lot closer than people thought. Philly got the win, but it was very close. Now, things have changed a little bit. CeeDee Lamb has risen above to be probably the top wide receiver in the NFL. Him and A.J. Brown are neck and neck. The running game of Dallas is still kind of suspect, but now DeAndre Swift of the Philadelphia Eagles is banged up, and their running game as of late hasn't been ideal as well. Jalen Hurts is not playing like himself. He's had 3 very tough games in a row now, and he finally fell short in another big one, and they got this last one to go before it's easy street. Everyone's dying to know what's going to happen. People are wondering all week long. You got Cowboy fans weighing in. You got Philly fans. You got people on neutral side. And the bottom line is, how about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys, -3, are coming out on top. 2 units. That's right. There's no fly, Eagles fly. I know that I broke Eagle fans' hearts last week when I picked against them, and I said all will be okay. But it's not going to be okay quite today or this week. It will be okay because nothing cures a losing streak like playing the Giants a couple weeks out of 4. So, that being said, Cowboys at home. Mike McCarthy finally is going to beat a team this year with a solid resume and survive at least another week from getting fired. So, that being said, sorry, Eagles fans. Cowboys all day long. 2 units. Get it done. -3. Take it to the bank. On to week 15. Cowboys tied for the division with the tiebreaker. They're in the lead. Boom.
Okay, let's take a look at pick number 5. We are looking at another Monday Night Football, 2 Monday Night Football picks in a row. This is going to be the 8:15 p.m. Eastern game between your Green Bay Packers sitting at 6-6 and my beloved Big Blue New York Giants sitting at 4-8. The Packers are currently favored by 6 points, but I want to take you back to a beautiful day overseas, October 9th of 2022. We were sitting at the Westgate watching this matchup. You were the home team at the time, and I believe we had a 17-13 score going into the half, and you were ready to roll. In fact, you guys even came out. I think the Westgate had you guys. It was Giants were plus 700 money line to win at that point. And I'll be honest, this was my first year learning about in-game wagering. And I said, that just seems too good to be true. But I feel like the Giants are going to win. I should put $100 down this game. And that's when I learned how not to win $700 because I didn't pull the trigger. And the Giants won that game 27-22. And you were miserable the whole day while me and Kill rubbed it in your face. I feel like it's going to be a different story given the trajectory of our two teams this season so far. So what would you like to tell us about the mighty Packers versus my lowly?
Okay. All I got to say is the Packers, they look good. We got the New York Giants with Tommy DeVito, a.k.a. Danny DeVito. He lives at home with his parents. They do his laundry. They cook him dinner, 3 square meals a day.
So you're saying he's smart with his budget?
He's financially, fiscally responsible, yes. Probably a salary of about $600,000 a year. So only in America, right? Bottom line, though, he's 2-0, won his last 2 games. Yeah, they were against Washington and against New England. But hey, Tommy DeVito has become kind of a folk hero in the city of New York right now.
We'll latch on to anything right now that we can get. We need something.
He is loved by Italians everywhere right now. Bottom line. The Giants, on the other hand, their passing game is terrible. They literally are putting up 151 yards passing per game. They have 11 passing touchdowns all year long. 11 passing touchdowns total all year long. You would say, okay, they got Saquon Barkley. They probably rushing the ball well. No, they have 4 rushing touchdowns all year long. The Giants' D has given up over 140 yards rushing per game, and they've given up 18 rushing touchdowns. That's a lot. Now let's turn around to the Packers side of the ball. Jordan Love is outstanding. Right now, he's got his last 5 games. He's number 2 in the NFL for touchdowns with 11, okay? Meaning he's thrown more touchdowns in the last 5 games than the Giants have the entire season. That being said, fun fact.
Lots of fun. Loving it.
If you guys don't hear from me next week, it's because he's mean mugging me right now.
You're in my studio, using my equipment. I edit the video, and you just constantly want to slam my beloved team.
Just keep this video, and if you don't hear from me next week, send it to authorities because he's mean mugging me. I feel his look burning into my brain. Jordan Love, 1,374 yards in the last 5 weeks. That's 3rd in the NFL. 106.3 QB rating the last 5 weeks. That's 4th in the NFL. He's got a great stable of wide receivers. Hopefully Christian Watson, who came into his own last week and showed flashes of what he did last year, but then he went down with a hamstring injury. Hopefully he's going to be good to go. But either way, between Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs, this great tight end stable they got going of Tucker Kraft, and I mean, it's unbelievable. His team is just producing offense everywhere. That being said, Aaron Jones is probably questionable, may not play. But A.J. Dillon looked solid last week. All that being said, this Packer team is looking great, and everyone's jumping on the train with me. I've been beating the drum all year long. I'm not a homer. I don't make picks. My picks have nothing to do with my feelings about the Packers, but what I believe the Packers to be.
But I'm no super genius. Or are I?
When I said they would smash to over 7.5 wins, and when I said that this team was going to win 10 or 11 games this year, it's starting to come true. People are becoming believers. And bottom line is, the Green Bay Packers are going to get it done this week, -6 against New York Giants, 4 units. Let's bury the bookie. We're going to get it done this week. It's going to be a monster week. We're going to back up the Brinks truck, get it done. It's going to be a great week. We're going 5-0. It's going to be the best week of the year. Boom. Merry Christmas early.
As always, guys, if you enjoy the content, please make sure you like and subscribe. We are making a push to the end of the year to get over 500 subscribers. And the watch time has been excellent for something we just started 12 weeks ago. We're having a great time doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate all you guys. Thank you for viewing and tuning in. I'm working my tail off for you. Mike is as well. We're having a blast. We're going to try to keep getting you that money, getting you those wins, having fun, being informative. Mike and I both are probably going to be unavailable this week at the Westgate. We're not going to be able to be there. So if you were planning on meeting up with us, we are unfortunately will not be there this week at Westgate. But looking forward to a great weekend of football and a doubleheader on Monday night. Not just a Packer game, but there's a second game as well. I believe it's Miami and Tennessee. The only okay, so basically it's like Ace Ventura. Okay, the only way the Giants could beat the Packers is if Mike goes and he pulls, the only way the Giants are gonna beat the Green Bay Packers if Mike goes and he kidnaps all of them in a freaking U-Haul.
Hey Google, I need flight information to New York City.
Oh my God.
Don't ask questions you don't want to know. Guys, thanks for watching. We hope you have a good week this week. Enjoy the games. Enjoy your betting. Be safe. If those weren't so expensive, link down below in the description if you want to purchase your own. I would knock that right the hell off the table.
Notice who's on top of who. That's all that matters. Who's on top of who? Go, Pack, go. Dun, 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 dun. Go, Pack, go.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.